Hey guys, it's Maple Flakes and I'm back with a bookish video. It's fall, it's September 9th, the moment I'm filming today, right now. It's getting cold, I'm in my sweater, the weather's changing, and I figured what better way to kick off fall than to read a good book that also has fall vibes. So I decided that I was going to start reading The Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This book has been on my TBR for ages, and I've been wanting to read another Leigh Bardugo book for a really long time because I read Shadow and Bone ages ago and I loved it, but I just haven't been in the mood to read Six of Crows, so I think this one might be a good stand in for now. I will read Six of Crows eventually, so don't come after me. I know that has like a really strong fan base. Anyways, I thought that Ninth House would be a great first book to kick off the fall season, seeing as it's dark academia. And I don't know, but to me, fall has always been kind of synonymous with going back to school. So I figured, why not read a dark academia book about secret societies in Yale? So yeah, I'm very excited, and I guess we'll just get to reading. And we start off with this beautiful map of Yale University. Oh my gosh. I love like the dark academia vibes already. I'm so excited. So I've now read like the first chapter, probably around just under 30 pages, and I know I was saying that I wanted to start reading this book because I wanted fall cozy vibes, and I thought a dark academia book would do that for me, but this is more like October horror scary vibes. The first scene is literally our main girl running late for this late night meeting with a brotherhood that's super snobby, and basically they do this like procedure where they'll like cut open a person. The more crazy the person is, the better, and they're basically like opening up their intestines and looking for omens and predictions for the stock market so that their society could get the money they need to fund whatever shenanigans their society wants or needs to have. So it's like pretty crazy right off the get-go. I was not expecting this level of darkness, at least not right away. I thought that was gonna happen eventually, but like we get right into it. Also, I'm a little confused at the moment in terms of the level of how much fantasy is actually in the world. It seems like it's really woven into a day-to-day life. I don't know if it's similar to Harry Potter, where you have the regular normal muggle world, but underneath in secret there's this like wizarding world full of magic and different technologies and whatnot, or if this is more like Babel, for instance, where magic is well known, it's a part of the world, and it's common knowledge to everyone, not just the magical beings. So we'll see. I think it'll get clear as I read, but not what I was expecting. Hi, Ray's here. Hello. He's my reading buddy who likes to interrupt my reading all the time. But I read some more, and it actually turns out that I think most people are normal and they don't know like the paranormal side of the world. So it's more like Harry Potter than Babel. I didn't realize that there's a bunch of time jumps in this. So yeah, it's definitely a little confusing right now, but I think it'll come together. And I'm really liking the the character difference between Galaxy and Darlington, Daniel Arlington. Is he the love interest? Because I feel like this would make such a cute couple, or like the worst couple. They could just be completely toxic for each other. But I think like the opposites attract thing could work here.
Alex would have liked to be immune to it. The pretty face, his lean frame, the easy way he occupied space as if he owned it. He had a way of distractedly brushing the brown hair back from his forehead that made you want to do it for him. If this guy is not the love interest, I don't know what is. I think they're gonna bone.
So I also just realized that Darlington had introduced himself to her roommates as her cousin. So if they did bone, it'd be kind of awkward and they'd really have to explain themselves, because that just gives me the ick. It's the day after, and yesterday I finished at around page 80. And I think things are finally like starting to ramp up. Like we've kind of passed the like setting the stage phase, and we're really getting into the meat of things. And like so far, our main girl has sort of like, she's not tied up in the murder, but I think she's gonna be digging into it because there's something sus about it. And also we find out that our homie Darlington is missing, and he's not actually in Spain. So it's kind of cool to see though how like it jumps back and forth between like the past and the present. So it's just like you see the relationship between her and like Darlington progressing, and like the type of back and forth that they would have, whereas like now she's like kind of doing things alone, and how people kind of treat her differently when Darlington's not there. I am pretty invested now, so I'm going to continue reading more. I just spent some time reading at a really cute coffee shop. I might go back there again tomorrow after work or something. Actually, no, I can't. I'm driving to Seattle. But yeah, so I read, I want to say like 50 more pages. Actually, yeah, probably closer to 30. Who am I kidding? Into Ninth House. And I didn't realize there were probably trigger warnings that I should have looked up beforehand, because something happened. It wasn't super like, it wasn't too intense, but it just made me feel a little uneasy. And I feel like it might be too much for other people. So do look up the trigger warnings. But yeah, so far, I feel like I don't care about this murder that much. I think that like Alex's interest in this murder just feels a little, like she kind of just feels like she's just doing it for shits, and it's like a little weird, you know? I know that she has like this weird gut feeling that something's wrong, but I think like that feeling isn't that obvious to me as a reader. At least, yeah, I don't know. I do not care about the murder, but I care about the fact that Darlington disappeared. I want to know more about that. And there's like little hints that there might have been something that's going on between like Alex and Darlington. It makes me more interested in their relationship and how, like, what the fuck happened to him. And like I have a feeling that she had something, she like fucked up somehow, and made him disappear. But yeah, I want to get to the Darlington part. I want to know where he went, what happened to him. So I'm gonna go home. Hopefully it's late enough that there is no rush hour, and continue reading. Hello, it is about a week later since I last recorded anything for a ninth house. I did, however, finish the book, and I will say that I really enjoyed it. At the very beginning, we had a really slow start, and I also found myself kind of overwhelmed with how many characters were kind of thrown at you and all the different names that I felt like I had to remember, but that was kind of solved fairly quickly, which is good. I actually ended up really, really liking some of the side characters. For example, Turner, who at the beginning was he just kind of seemed like a dick, but he ended up being kind of like a sassy good guy. And then there was also Dawes, who was seemingly meek and timid at first, or at least that's how I felt she was. And she turned out to be this fiercely loyal friend that's just like always got your back. And I don't know, I liked kind of being deceived a little, you know, like how your first impressions of these characters are just like, oh, they're kind of like meh, but then you end up really liking them in the end. It was very fun to really get to know them. Something in the beginning that also kind of took me by surprise was the fact that it felt very dark. There were some themes that I thought I was going to have a hard time getting through, especially in the beginning when she is sort of going through these little vignettes of her childhood, because she has gone through some pretty traumatic things. And I was like, okay, if this is just like the first part, I don't know how I'm gonna be able to get through the rest. But luckily it wasn't too bad. I am still kind of miffed that this was described as a dark academia book when there isn't that much academia in it at all. It felt more like a supernatural murder mystery that just happened to be set in an Ivy League. So if you wanted a similar feel to something like Babel, for example, they're so different. But however, I still had a good time. The mystery I felt like was really well done. It felt like there was so many threads and so many things that you can kind of follow and pull on, but most of them kind of tied together at the very end and kind of converged into a satisfying ending. I also felt like it wasn't super obvious. Like I felt like there was a bunch of like turns and like twists in who I think might have done what. So it kept me on my toes the entire time. And to be honest, when I started reading the book, I really did not think that I was going to want to read the second book. But now I'm glad that there's a second book and that I get to spend more time with these characters and figuring out that last little thread of mystery that we haven't quite closed off yet, I guess. So all in all, I rated this book a 4 stars, and honestly, the more I sit on it, the more I feel like I could rate this a little bit higher. It's just that first bit really got to me. But there you have it, my very first reading vlog. I've always wanted to make content like this, and I know that this first video is going to be a little rough since I've never done this type of thing before. But I'm enjoying the process so far, so let me know what you guys think of this format in the comments below, or in my books channel in my Discord, which I'll link down below as well. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon, hopefully.